everyone, and welcome to Yap Tips. I'm Rea, for those of you who don't know me, and for those of you who did not attend the YAPTI conference in Valencia last year. I spoke about healthy freelancing and healthy freelancing as a translator or interpreter especially. And I want to share a bit more about this today in this Yap Tip. So let's stretch together and make a healthy breakfast later. First, however, I just want to start a bit about why this topic is important for us and why we should pay more attention to it. First of all, we all sit all day. All we do is sit in front of our computer and basically translate away or do administrative stuff. Unfortunately, this whole sitting is really bad for us because it shortens all our muscles and it will make us become a little bit like Gollum. You know Gollum? And then secondly, also a lot of us, we do not have health coverage in case we fall ill. So I find it important that we look after ourselves and care about our bodies just as much as we do CPD or any other professional development for whatever specialization we do. For me, stretching is very important because a few years ago I apparently didn't stretch enough, and then I started to have a terrible backache. And I think this happens to a lot of us. It's at least something I hear quite often from translators. Oh, my back hurts, or oh, my shoulders hurt, or oh, my head aches. It's just there every day. I end up with a headache. And then I think, you know, if we sit all day, that's just normal. It's also important to notice that we should drink enough every day. A lot of us, we just start with a cup of coffee in the morning and then just drink maybe one glass of water until lunchtime, and that's it. Your whole body only works well if it has enough fluids to absorb and to make your cells work and your brain work also. So make sure you do drink enough, especially now that in the northern hemisphere at least it's summer and pretty hot. So make sure you just set yourself drinking targets, not for beer o'clock of course, but for water or tea or whatever is your beverage of preference before the beer o'clock occurs. So what I find important is that we sit all day. What this does is it shortens our hip flexors and it makes us just become really flabby and not very fit. Of course, you can go to the gym, and I find that very important. You should go at least 3 times a week to do some sort of exercise that also strengthens your muscles. But stretching is something you can do at home, just when you go to the toilet or when you get up to get another glass of water. Just, you know, do some stretching. It doesn't need to be a half an hour of stretching. You could just do 1 minute here, 1 minute there, and I'm sure you'll feel a lot better just within a few days already. Notice that if you could also just follow along some YouTube videos. I always recommend Yoga with Adrienne because I like the way she has different sequences for different pain areas or areas that maybe have pain here or there, whatever. And they are pretty short, so you don't need to do an hour of yoga just to get that area sort of stretched out. Another one is Yoga with Cassandra, and for similar reasons I like it. The thing is with us sitting all day, we become very tight in certain areas and very loose in others. So why don't we stretch together? When you just get up from your chair or whatever, you could just go to your mat that you could just have lying around on somewhere in your office, or maybe just in the hallway if you don't have space in your office, or even in the kitchen, whatever. A yoga mat is something that is pretty cheap, and you can just have it lying around during the day and then roll it back up in the evening if it bothers you where it's lying. So there's no excuse for you to say, oh no, I can't do stretching because I don't have the space for it. Everyone has space for it. It just needs very little space, like you can see here. So first, we could do cat-cow. You basically go to tabletop position, and what you do is this, and then the opposite. Try this a few times. I'm sure it will make your back already feel a lot better than before. Another one that is very good for our tight hip flexors is this position, where you put one leg in front of you and the other one as far back as you can, and then you try to stay like this, and you will feel a stretch here and also here. Of course, you can make this more complicated by then pulling up the back leg, and you will feel a tighter stretch here. This is a very good stretch for when you've been sitting long hours and you don't have time to do a long session of stretching. It's very effective. It releases the tightness immediately, and you'll feel a lot better afterwards. If you want something more basic, of course, downward dog is always a good option. You just go into this position. If this feels too tight for you, you can paddle it out. And then go into child's pose. And relax your back. This is particularly relaxing for your upper back. So why don't we prepare some healthy breakfast now for tomorrow? I prepared a few oats already here. These are about 4 soup spoonful of oats. I usually like to add a few raisins. Also, we can add a few almonds. How about some linseed, or also called flaxseed? I like to add about a tablespoonful. If you want, you can also use some chia. Chia makes it a very nice texture, and the color blue is quite pretty, so it looks more appetizing in the next morning when you get up and maybe don't feel like having a healthy breakfast. But then you look at it and it's so pretty and tastes lovely. I also like to add a bit of cinnamon, especially in winter. Even though right now it's summer and we're making overnight oats, I stir them a bit and then I fill it with water. Now you might be inclined to just use this much water. By the way, this water is cold. You can also use hot one. It doesn't really matter. But when the oats soak up all the water, unfortunately, this will not be enough, and it will be a really tight and uncomfortable cake to eat tomorrow morning. So make sure to fill it up a bit more, just so it covers it well with water, and then a little bit more. This is more the right amount of water that you need in order for those oats to be well soaked tomorrow morning and deliciously healthy for you to eat. What I then do is I cover it and I put it in the fridge. So let's see tomorrow morning how they're gonna look, and then we're gonna finish off the breakfast and make it look even more delicious. So see you tomorrow.